Hey, spooky friends, and welcome to The Three Twisted Sisters, hosted by Britt.
Kay.
And Lexi.
And on today's Twisted episode, we are going to be discussing the Night Hag.
Yucktown, USA.
Yes! So, how do you guys feel about this topic?
This
Mixed.
topic, it's going to be educational.
Yeah.
It's going to be intense. And
A little bit enlightening.
a little bit overwhelming. There's like a heaviness on my chest.
Interesting.
But we'll get into that. But I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to share our experiences and our stories with the Night Hag. If anyone has experienced her before, I want to know every detail of it. If anyone is experiencing her now, we're going to give you some good tips to help you out. And I'm excited about that. But I'm also, it's a lot. It's a big topic. How are you feeling?
I mean, she's an interesting creature. Like, don't get me wrong. And she's like, it's cool, like, when you really dive deep into, like, what she is, that, like, she's a very powerful being, but she's very much so also, like, a nightmare and a half.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
a literal
she's, like,
nightmare.
a thing of nightmares. Like, when you have a nightmare, like, damn, that's her.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like, a mixed emotions. Like, you want to respect her, but she's also, like,
intense.
a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
That's
she's
so
got a lot
good,
of layers to her, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about it, Britt?
It's about the same.
Mm.
About the same. Yeah. I don't know. I want to dive into, I should say, the history of it, maybe kind of clear myself, because I have like the mixed boat feeling.
Yes. Let's hear it.
Alrighty. So legends and lore of the Night Hag have plagued humanity for thousands of years. She is actually a supernatural creature often associated with witchcraft and sleep paralysis. A little touchback to one of our previous episodes. She is a female demon. She can appear in two ways. One as a seductress, or most common, the way that I've seen her, is as a haggard old witch bitch. Okay. So we want to think, like, for a pop culture reference, think of if you've seen that movie The Witches. Whenever they take off, they're all in that fucking ballroom and they take off their faces, and it's like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay,
Show her the picture. It's so crazy.
It's an interesting one. It's a movie everyone should see. You know, it's a good one.
Well,
an oldie but a goodie.
And I will decide.
An oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, here it is.
Why?
It's a kids movie.
It is. And you know what? Every like October when it would come on, Kayla and I would be like, oh shit, this really scary movie's on. Like,
it's
let's buckle up. So
so
you could think of kind of how the witches appear in that movie, where once they take off their beautiful skin, they look terrifying. Also kind of like Snow White, when the evil queen goes through her transformation. Haggardy looking lady, not Hagrid.
Hagrid.
Not Hagriddy. Haggerty.
Anyways. So she can appear two ways.
Also, I said this in a few episodes ago too, Salem, the witches on there were working with black magic and were working with the devil. That's how they got their power or whatever. But they're true, even though they were beautiful and stunning and handsome and everything on the outside, their true nature, their true soul's look was very scary and demonic and haggard looking. Hag looking, okay? So, over thousands of years, the Night Hag, the Old Hag, the original Eve, the Lilith, the succubus, the witch also, they have all traveled through many cultures and traditions as a nightmare, supernatural demonic being that visits you. So, ancient Greece actually had a goddess that they related to the Night Hag, which was the goddess Hecate. Hecate. And she was actually the goddess of witchcraft, ghosts, things like that, all the fun stuff. No, I'm just kidding. And then the let's see, the world's oldest story. Now, this comes out of ancient Babylonian times, 3 BC to be specific. I've talked about I know. I've talked about the ancient Babylonian tablet that depicted ghosts, like the first haunting and stuff. So the spirituality, the paranormal aspect of life was super heightened at this point. And this particular artifact showcases the Night Hag, or Lilith is actually what they called her back then. Lilith having almost like owl-like features. Now, out of her ankles, her feet turned into like taloned owl feet, or like crazy bird feet. Okay. And she's standing and she's
talons, maybe.
Yes, talons.
Bird
and
feet.
She's bird feet, chicken feet. And she's standing on top of 2 lions with 2 owls on either side of her, and she's almost viewed as, in that culture back then, as the night demon.
Jesus.
Yeah. The demon of the night, I should say. And then over the Middle Ages, of course, many, many, many different writings depicted her, and spouted stories of the Night Hag's victims, who were experiencing a nighttime intruder who would crawl into their bed and sit on their chest. Now, in the this is funny, but the Middle Age writings referred this writings. God damn it! The Middle Age foretellings of this said that this hag would sit on your chest and ride you.
She couldn't like. I was like, she couldn't find a chair, and then you're like, right. I'm like, never mind.
She's like, Anna.
Excuse me.
Damn.
I know it's.
Are you gonna buy me dinner first?
Looks like it's time to go to bed, guys. Am I right?
I'm hoping you're looking like the seductress and not like the.
Imagine. Ew.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally.
No, you're not.
So she rides you, and then what?
Basically, because it was a couple sources had referred to like the folklore back then of saying riding, but basically she sits on your chest while you're sleeping, causes sleep paralysis, that whole thing. And really, since the beginning of these experiences, witchcrafts or demons, dark entities, things like that, were to blame for these occurrences. Now, I know I rattled off a couple of her nicknames. So we've got the Night Hag, the Old Hag, the Witch, the original Eve, the Succubus, Lilith. Basically, what this female demon spirit does is that she lurks. She watches. She is a powerful, malevolent. basically her personality, she's a watcher. She's a lurker. She's a powerful, malevolent energy that has always existed, and she exists in her own plane of reality. She has the ability to bear human children if she were to.
Christ.
Legend has it. If she lays with a male human, she could bear his children.
For her to bear the children, does she come into like our said reality, or does she do it by sitting on their chest?
Okay, so with succubuses and incubuses, they basically are the like sleep demons who come to you in a sexual manner. So it's like sleep paralysis, but you are.
How does she birth the child, though?
I do not know that part. That is something we can absolutely dive into.
Would she like put it into a female because she lays with females too, because she sits on their chest too, right?
I don't. It's like a.
Sorry.
So she's known as the. She's known as the succubus. So she theoretically, old school thinking, would quote unquote only appear to men. That is like the. Yeah. And then the incubus would be the male version who quote unquote only appears to women.
Got
it. But I think honestly it goes all the ways, but for procreation purposes, she would lay with a male human. The incubus could lay with a female human. So, but I think that as far as like the sleep demon sexual issue that could happen during sleep paralysis could absolutely be from either. But yeah, that's the history I have.
Pretty good history.
Yeah, just a brief little talk over, but I did find a few good tips for protection, but we'll dive into that after we tell you guys our own Night Hag stories. I'm gonna switch gears and give it over to you, Lexi.
Hey, so like Brittany said, there's like so many years that she's been traumatizing people, like just being a menace to society. And I have these two stories that I found that were like super interesting to me. One of them is this person has had nightmares of her since she was 16. She's 42 now, right? Right. Old. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But now it's becoming more of like a sleep paralysis thing. Like she'll sit on her chest, right? And to her, like she presents herself as like this evil, not pretty female with like a black cloak and like her witchy face and like just the ugly side of her essentially, right? And she just radiates like this evil energy to the person. And she had in the story, it's that she like sometimes sleeps on her stomach and she like feels her hand like going up, like running up her spine and like getting her mouth and like holding her back. Like that's what it feels like she's doing.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like this way?
That's
like she's
that
she's on her stomach. Like she's on her stomach.
That sounds like assault. Oh God.
Yeah. Fucking nuts.
Ay. That's yucky.
Very yuck town.
No,
very,
thank you.
How does it say how often she has the sleep paralysis?
Like once a month at least. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I would not want to sleep
for that long.
Like personally, when she was in my dream. Side note, like there was a point in time where like I did not want to sleep because I was scared to sleep.
Yeah.
So like it's nuts. And then the other one that I found is that she shows up to this female very beautiful. Like she has the veil, like she has a beautiful white dress, but like evil still radiates off her, right? And she likes for that one same thing sit on her chest, but the Grim Reaper comes with her to visit during her sleep paralysis, and he chills by the bed, like at the end of the bed, and like she is like in her paralysis, she's like fighting off these monsters so that they don't like yank her down under her bed, because she feels like that's what they're trying to do.
That's a no from me, dog.
Yeah.
Ew.
Pretty nuts.
That's
so disturbing.
Right?
Yuck.
Yeah.
She looks beautiful and gross, and she's still
doing the same shit.
Yeah. Not crazy. Like either in other form, like you feel her like just her negative energy.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
That is terrifying.
Yucky.
Nightmare.
Yucky.
Have we all experienced her before?
100%.
Yes. I've never experienced her. Well, I haven't known 100% that it's her while I'm sleeping, though. It's been while I'm like walking around. Conscious.
Like you're awake?
Yes.
It's like doing chores. She's like helping you.
If the fuck only. I
I
wish. Pick up a motherfucking dish. No, I'm just kidding. Both times I saw her, they were in the house that I'm in now, and all around the same time, the same instances, we all were seeing her.
Right.
Which I don't. Should I go first or should you go first?
No, go.
I'll go first. Okay. Well, we just happened to be discussing. It was like a couple of months, I would say, a month span, talking with Kayla about this, and we were all really like diehard Scrabble fans. At this particular time, it was like
some of us better than others.
For real. No, just kidding. No. So we were avid Scrabble players, and we were like getting it one night. All of us around the table.
Disgusting, Brittany.
Can we
the Night Hag
start?
was like, no. The Night Hag was like, oh, you guys getting it?
Yeah.
Let me join in.
I'm gonna mix up this medicine.
Well, take a nap first.
She comes in. She's like, it's been 20 minutes. Who the fuck is getting in this bed?
I'm working for tips, bitches.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
Whoa.
You think that deity life is cheap?
Bed.
In hell, I'm pulling millions. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting all the Benjamins.
Okay. So
Okay. Anyways,
we
so
were
back
getting
to
it.
we were getting them triple letter scores.
That's her.
Okay.
So I just happened to glance. I'm, sitting at the dining room table. The kitchen is like to my 2 o'clock, I would say. I look into the kitchen, right? 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
I look into the kitchen and I see. Now I'm going to describe this to you, and only it will only make sense if you have seen this movie, okay? Do you guys remember in Moana, when Moana goes into the crab land where that big ass crab is, and those weird things that like come at her that are like like moving kind of like grudge like, all weird out of like a different dimension kind of vibe. So the way she looked to me in the kitchen, she looked like Momo, popular scary looking bitch. Momo mixed with the like movements of Grudge / Moana creatures. Okay.
What a weird comparison. Grudge and Moana. You figure it out.
Figure it out, motherfucker. No, you guys, like, if you're seeing this on if you're just listening to it, it's almost like that what's that word? Like the
Like laggy.
almost like laggy. Yeah, like a lagged movement with like their head and body kind of moving in like almost like a serpentine kind of pattern. Anyway, but she looked like a female woman body. Anyway. So, yeah, I see her coming at me with her Momo face, her hanging hair. Her neck is like extended at like a weird angle and like hunched over almost, and she's just like this. But it was so brief. It was like a blink of an eye and she was gone. And I was like, "What the heck?" That was really weird. So then a couple months later, same thing. It's all still kind of going on with, especially with the three of us, with anybody around our immediate circle. And Kayla will get into why when she tells her story. But Kayla and I had just gotten into this massive fight. Now, Kay and I are sisters, yes, but fighting like this was just, it was vicious. It was I felt like a
on whose end? Who's catching the viciousness?
we was all being vicious. No, I'm just saying. But it was a very
says otherwise.
Huh?
I said her defense immediately says otherwise.
Oh,
she's on both sides.
It was so it was a fight that I even had like a feeling like something is driving this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is not this big to be this angry or to be this upset. And I was mad at everybody and so angry. So Kayla leaves.
Yeah, because I will say there were witnesses. Okay, and she was mad at the witnesses too. It wasn't just
it was everything.
That's why I'm saying the viciousness was coming from Brittany.
From me? Bitch, it was both of us. You brought it there, baby. Anyway, listen.
You did.
It was like the energy was in the room, and regardless of who was in there, everybody was affected negatively. So I tear myself away from the situation once Kayla leaves, and I push everybody away because I was super, super reactive. I go take a shower. As I'm showering, this is a little bit too far-fetched to believe, and I understand if it sounds too like Hollywoody, okay? Let me break it down for you. Taking a shower, washing my hair, and thinking of this fight and all of like the negative thoughts, and I'm just washing my hair, and as I'm doing that, I see almost from like a third person looking, like I could see the back of my head kind of thing. And from my fingertips, from my scalp, were like black, dusty, tentacly looking things, almost like tentacly, but also smoke kind of vibe, black, coming off my head. And as that's happening, I hear on the other side of the curtain a humming. And it was like, like that kind of. And I open my eyes, and the shower curtain, I swear, like on anything. The shower curtain was sorry. The shower curtain, I'm standing there washing my hair. I see these black smoke things. I hear this this hum. I open my eyes, and the shower curtain is lifted up all around me, like somebody is pushing their arms through the curtain to give me a hug. And I immediately, like, I don't even know how fast I did this. I ripped the curtain, turned the water off, flung everything open, and was looking at the entire bathroom in a matter of seconds because I was like, what? Terrified. Nothing was there. Whatever kind of thing. Those were the 2 times that I experienced her.
Yeah, just a yucky feeling. So there's not a lot of explanation that goes into, you know, that I think why she was kind of all surrounded around us, other than the fact that I worked at a place with a lot of weird negative energy, and a lot of it was stemming from like really dark magic, almost. Like, that's the best way that I can explain it. And a lot of people that I worked with were kind of affected by this negatively, and a lot of us saw her and experienced her. So I was at work one time. I worked the graveyard shift, and I have other people working with me. And, you know, there would be times where we would like take turns like napping or something, you know? But at this night, I was like super caffeinated, like multiple Red Bulls or whatever. And I'm like chilling, we're having fun, we're laughing. It's like a good time. And I just all of a sudden get hit with like straight exhaustion. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I lay down and I pass out. Weird. Because I'm that's just not my nature. So I fall asleep almost instantly, and while I'm asleep, I have a dream. I get up in my dream, and none of my coworkers are there, and I'm like, huh, this is weird. And then I kind of like step a couple steps, and then I see these three women standing there, and one in the middle is looking down and she's not looking at me. And she's like I can tell that she's making a point to not make eye contact with me. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And the one on her left, well, on her right, my left, was huge. I mean, like tall, like 7 feet tall, and just like beast of a woman. And then the other one, yeah. And then
Jesus.
the other one, I don't even really remember because she was just like nothing. Like, she had nothing involved at all. But there was three women standing there, and I am 5 feet tall. So I see this ginormous woman, and I'm like, oh fuck, you know what is about to happen? And she attacks me, like she's trying to fight me, and I'm like trying to call out for help. I'm like, where the heck are my coworkers? What's happening? And me and her are like literally fighting. And I fell down like during the little scuffle around, you know, this area, and she hit me and I fell down, and when I hit the ground I woke up, and I like sat up, and it had been like less than 10 minutes that I was asleep, and I was able to fall asleep completely, go into REM sleep, have a very vivid, intense dream, and then wake up, have it go to completion, and then wake up, and it had been under 10 minutes.
Jesus.
And I was freaking out. Like, I woke up like, like that, and my coworkers were like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch, you know? And I'm like, oh gosh, so like, nothing, I'm good. And I didn't tell anyone. So I was like, no, I'm crazy nightmare, I'm not going to tell anyone about it. So then a couple months later, I'm back at work with different people. We're hanging out, laughing, super energetic. Again, multiple Red Bulls. We're having a fun time. And again, bam, I get hit with like, oh, God, I'm tired all of a sudden. Pass right out. Again, weird. But this time in my dream, I'm looking, and again, my coworkers are gone, and I'm arguing with this man. And I don't know what, I mean, I can get pretty sassy, and I can say some pretty sassy shit.
Hella sass town over
Yeah. And so I'm being really sassy. And he's like, you know what? No. Like, drops everything he's holding, and he's like, let's fight. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why do I have to fight this guy? So we start fighting. And it's almost exactly the same fight that I went through in my first dream. But there's no creepy woman. And I'm like, and I'm thinking of that, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? What the heck's going on? And this time I'm like calling for my coworkers, and they come running in, and it was like, oh crap. Then out of nowhere, like hundreds of men come, and they're like, we're all about to start fighting. And it's like, what is happening? This is insane. And they all run off into this area because I have a whole bunch of like, you know, all my coworkers are coming, and they're like, yeah, let's help you fight these crazy guys. And I'm going like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. And they all like run into this thing. this one guy comes out and he won't look at me, but he's like bawling his eyes out. He's just like and like coming towards me, and I'm like, hey, get away from me, get away from me. And he keeps coming up closer and he's crying, and I'm like, ew, dude, like get away from me. And he keeps coming closer the third time, and I'm like, dude, get away from me, or like I'm gonna knock you out. And then all of a sudden the creepy lady from the middle of my first dream jumps on me, and I like look up and I see her, and I'm like, what the hell? And she jumps on me and she tries to wrap her arm around my neck, and she's like trying to bite me, and she's like hitting me. And I'm like, who the hell is this bitch? So I grab her and I throw her off of me, and the guy that was crying stabs me in like the like Achilles. Like my Achilles tendon. I don't know.
Oh no.
Describe it. And one of my coworkers like attacks that guy, and I pull the thing out and I look up at my coworker and I go, oh, I'm dead. And then I woke up. And again, it had only been about 10 minutes that I was asleep. And I was freaking out, and I was like, what the heck was that? So in my dreams, what I got the very first one was that she was immediately, I knew that she was not a human and she had never been a human. So the best way that I can describe her is a demon. You know, she's never been human. And she didn't look at me in the first dream. She didn't interact with me at all. She didn't attack me. But what I got was that she was telling the other person to attack me. And I have no idea why, crazy, and that she was supposed to, you know, try to kill me in my first dream. And I fought back. I don't know. And then in the second dream, she was nowhere to be found. It was just completely random people that I have no idea who they are. And when I started, you know, taking control of my dream and being like, no, if you step close to me again, I'm going to attack you, then it wasn't going to her plan. And that's when she jumped in and intervened so that he could stab me. And I think that that's kind of her thing, is that she's very much fear-based, and she wants to create those nightmares inside of you and make you kind of like curl up in a ball in your nightmare, like, ah, and just let her kind of take control of it. And when you don't, then that screws up her whole plan. And that's kind of when I say like she's not that powerful. She is powerful, but her type of magic and like manipulation is very weak, so you can overcome it easily. But she was kind of stuck around me after the second dream for months. And multiple of my coworkers have had dreams and sleep paralysis with her as well. Similar instances, and very scary stuff, like the sitting on the chest, the choking, she's trying to take your soul, she's trying to kill you. That's kind of the similarities that we all had during that time. So then, of course, in my personal life, you guys were experiencing her also. So at that workplace, not only was it people that I was working with were experiencing it, and then you guys were experiencing her also. We had found some really creepy stuff at that work. Some of the residents there, we found like black magic altars, and we're like, this is weird. Okay, like freaky, whatever. You do you. I mean, whatever. But we were like, this is creepy. Like maybe that's what's kind of drawing her in, right? And again, not only I wasn't the only one experiencing it. So it had been a couple months after my second dream where a coworker of mine experienced it, and I was working, you know, with him that day. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we were kind of like finishing each other's sentences as to what she looked like and what we experienced in the dream. And I was like, I haven't told anyone this. And, you know, slowly more people were kind of coming to me and telling me that they were experiencing certain things too, but that they had experienced them for a while at this place. And one of my coworkers they were outside in the parking lot in the car, and the car was completely turned off, nothing on, and it's two coworkers and they're talking, and then they start hearing singing, And they're like, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? So my friend takes out his phone and hits record and records what it sounds like a woman singing coming out of the car, like the speaker. And he puts the phone right next to the speaker, and there's like a woman humming, like
Ew.
somewhere over the rainbow or something creepy like that.
Yeah.
And we were like, ah, like what the heck?
Is the car on?
No,
How was
it was completely off.
That's gotta be so scary just to hear like this, like, because it's obviously like you can tell that it's not a good sing. You know what I mean? Like it's creepy.
Yeah.
And then she heard it. Britt heard it in the shower. Like ugh.
Yeah. And
like that's crazy to me.
I haven't heard her singing.
I've never heard her
freak
sing.
out. But when I would go home, like she was there too. I didn't just have 2 dreams of her. Those were my first 2, and they were very prominent. But the other dreams that I've had of her, she has tried to come into my dream, and I literally just am like, nope, like not allowed. And then it's incredibly terrifying though. Anytime she comes near, it's just scary. So yeah, she was creepy, and she didn't only follow me at work. She followed me at home too, and would come in my dreams, and I would see her in my dreams and when I was awake also. And it was super yucky. Yucktown.
I know we say like she wasn't powerful. She is powerful.
Yeah, she is powerful.
Just in the fact that she
persistent.
can travel.
Yeah, she's persistent.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to overcome her.
Right.
The thing that feeds her is your fear.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have trouble breaking away from their fear and stopping it. Kind of like the wardrobe in Harry Potter, where it spits out like the thing that you're most scared of, and you have to do a spell to change it into something funny. Well, that's kind of how she is. She's showing you something scary, and all you have to do is push her out. Yeah. Well, that's not all you have to do, but that is something that you need to do, the process to get her out. Yeah, fun stuff.
No, but she is very powerful. Her strength is her ability to like get your fear and throw it in your face. Like that's a strength. To be able to do that, like that's powerful.
Yeah.
It'd be like in multiple places.
Yeah. Like that's strong. Even though she's weak. Like even though you can overcome her, it's still a strong ability.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
She's just icky town.
Yeah.
So how have you experienced her?
So for me, I haven't seen her with my naked eyes.
Mine technically weren't naked. I had glasses.
Or with my glasses.
Glass eyes.
Your
glass eyes.
Your caged eyes.
Caged. But I have seen her in my dreams and in like meditation. Which is like they're crazy. So the way that I kind of first started interacting with her, it was strictly through my sleep. And it wasn't like she just like showed herself at first. It was more of like she like definitely built the fear in me for her to be able to like come into like full vision. Like it'd be like
a slow burn.
Yeah, like I would be having a dream, like a nice, because I have very vivid dreams. So like I'd be having like a nice dream, and then out of nowhere, like I'm walking, and then there's a lady in front of me, and she turns, and I go to look, and it's like she went into a whole different realm, and it's like nightmare realm.
Oh.
And then like it'd be stuff like that, or like I'd be walking in a hallway, and she would turn in, like I would walk through a doorway, and she would like just scream in my face, type of thing, like straight like what you think of a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it like just slowly kept building up, and there was times where like I would wake up feeling like I was just like had just gotten strangled, like I can't breathe, type of thing. I haven't witnessed the paralysis, but like it was like in my dream state, like she was trying to like strangle me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there was at one point that like her being in my dreams like so consistently that like I was terrified to sleep. Like I was like, I don't want to sleep because I'm going to get a nightmare, but I'm exhausted. Like it was if I sleep, like it's just going to be a nightmare. Like it was not a fun experience. And in my meditations, it was a little bit harder for her. There was one that I remember very vividly, and I was actually with Kayla at the time when we were meditating in her room at the time. And I was laying there, and you'll remember this, but like Kayla, we were laying in her bed, and during the meditation, Kayla said that she kept seeing like a black figure and she kept swatting it away. But like the way that it was like I was sitting at the beach, right? That's like my little meditation is the beach. And in front of me, like it was waves, but then there was like a big wall of water. And it was like trying to like get me to come with her. And like she was being so sweet about it too. Like, so like, oh, like, come on, like it'll be fun. And then when she like convinced me to, she like dragged me all the way to like the bottom of the ocean. And like it was not fun. Let me tell you.
You didn't turn into a mermaid? Damn it.
She just like dragged me and it was terrifying. But then I broke out of the meditation and she like was done for. But the most scariest dream that I had, and it was when like this was within the last year that I had this dream. And ever since then, like she hasn't bothered, like I've felt her around, but she hasn't like bothered me to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm scared of her. Like I just like, hey, peace out, like skip cat, patty whack, right? But in this dream, I was like in my old apartment complex, but it was a house, and it was like on a hill. So like it was my apartment complex, but it was a house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like I was there, and I was like walking up the stairs, and I kept seeing like a woman in a white gown, like walking like across the hallway as I was walking through the house. Or like she would be guiding me, and then she would turn the corner, and then when she would turn the corner, like I just saw her nasty side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then I started getting scared of her, but she was only in the hallway. Like when I would walk in the hallway, like it started to be like this, like the smoke of blackness with like just the ever so slightly of like white light peeking through, because she was like controlling the atmosphere essentially. And I remember being in like this, like in the back room of the house, right? So like I'm down this long stretch of hallway, and I'm in this room, and in my dream I was with like my old soccer team from college, and we were like in like not in agreement about something, and I don't remember what the topic was, but I remember being like, oh, like I want to go home type of thing, like I want to go home. And I like was like, I can't find my keys. Like, where are my keys? I kept asking everyone. They're like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. Like, figure it out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like, I was like, you know what? Like, I'll just walk home. Like, it's whatever. Like, I'll just walk home. And like, every time I would go to look out the hallway, like, it was that darkness. And then she would walk across in her white gown. Like, you're not coming. Like, you're not walking through here. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. And then like, I tried to do it one time without having my keys, and she like was like, she came running towards me in the white gown with her like gross face. And then I was like, you know what, like no, like this isn't happening. So I went back into the room, and there was a gentleman in the room who was like, I'll help you find your keys. And I was like, oh cool, right? So then I grabbed my keys, and me and this guy, don't know who he is, don't know what he looks like. There was this gentleman, right? And I grabbed my keys, and he's like, I will go with you. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. And we were like walking down the hallway, and she was behind us, but she was in her beautiful state of form. And I was like, you're not touching me, like you can't be near me. And then like the darkness collapsed, right? And then we like made it to the front of the house. So now we're at the like outside of the apartment complex, but like on a giant hill. And we're like walking, and it's nighttime in my dream, and it just feels like an overwhelming of just bad, right? And it's gonna sound ridiculous for a second. So there's this female, like she's a female figure in like a full head to toe like bunny suit, Like think about like Easter Bunny. Like that's what she's in, right? It's stupid, I know, right?
Not stupid. Keep going.
So we're like walking, and like there's just like this random ass Easter Bunny, right? In my dream, and I'm like, that's
scary enough.
I'm like, kind of weird. And we're like walking, and she like goes to try, the bunny tries to come near us, and she like tries to grab me, but I'm like, no. And then so then she gets angry because we're just like walking, right? So then like the bunny disappears, and then it comes back, but then it like jumps on us, and then it starts like fully like clawing us.
I knew you were gonna say clawing before you even said it. Ew.
And yeah, and then the gentleman that I'm with, he's like, no, like you run, like go run, like hide, like I will, like it's fine. And I was like freaking out in my dream, like, oh, like this guy's gonna die, right? But then I like ran away, and I hid in a bush, and I like see her like just like fighting this guy, like the gentleman that's in my dream. And then as I was about to like run even farther away, I was like, you know what, like no. So like I ran, and at this point she still had like her claws were coming through, but the Easter Bunny head was still on her. Well, yanked it off her, and I just see like, oh my god, I just got it in my head, like this scream, like, oh, I can't even do the scream. Fuck, oh, I'm like freaking out, but like this menacing scream at me, and like I just see like like a nasty mouth, and like this evil witch, and she did not like that. So then I like kicked her in the face, and I like got her off him, and I just like started stomping on her, like just
stomp that bitch out.
like completely like just beating her up, and then she like vanished. And then ever since then, like she has not bothered me. But yeah, it was nuts.
I've never, knock on wood, I've never dreamed of her or had to fight her, but the energy and the vibe I got after my fight, which I think that she definitely was there kind of influencing the energy in our home just to get it amped up so much. But I mean, I told you guys, it almost felt like a come hither, child. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, she's never given me a come on, little sweet thing, don't you want to come here? She's always just out for blood with me. And the first time that she jumped on me in that second dream of mine, I was able to see like everything about her. Her skin, it has like this grayish,
like it's lumpy.
Yeah. And it's like
decayed,
like leathery, and like yikes.
waxy.
A lot of people say that like her eyes are just like black holes, right? Like they're just circular black. And yeah, but I've seen them, and she's just, and the vibe from her is just pure evil. I mean, like when we've been fighting in my dreams, I mean, there's just, she does not care. She's like, no, we're gonna fight. I'm gonna try to kill you. And it's overwhelming. But I've had meditations where she's tried to come in, and I've had dreams where I've been very much awake in my dreams, and I'm like shouting at her, like, who are you? Like, tell me your name, like, wanting to figure out like, who are you? But the thing with demons is, a lot of people believe that if they do tell you their name, then at that point you can legitimately banish them, so they won't ever give up their name. And that was kind of another sign to me that she, although I had already had a notion that she wasn't human, that kind of solidified it for me. And I was like, besides all the other evilness that follows her,
Yeah.
but she's scary. She can be very, very, very scary.
She's terrifying.
Yeah.
And the just bouncing back to the history part. Now, she has coined a couple monikers like Lilith or the Greek goddess. Oh my gosh, what is it?
Hecate?
Hecate. Um, but those, because also in spiritual practice, they are known as deities that we work with because they're on that level. But the Night Hag, I don't necessarily want to connect the parallel between the spiritual feminist icon Lilith and this monstrous literal nightmare. I don't necessarily want to connect those dots, and to put that stamp of, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying?
I think similar to our world, that the spirit world is a lot like if you're working with a deity, okay, they're helping you. You picked them to help guide you during a certain part of your life. But they still have a job outside of being your deity. So although she
Okay.
could be a deity to some, she still has her main job. Like, she will go in either alone or with another, I don't want to say demon, but with another energy to legitimately take your soul. Now, whether that's because she works for Hades or the Grim Reaper or Lucifer or whoever it is that she works with, that's part of her job.
Yeah.
Like, the fear
Okay.
that she instills inside of you is supposed to slowly break you down until you commit suicide, and then she takes your soul. Like, that's part of the legend about her as well. So I think she can be a positive deity to some, but she still has a job, which is just not one I would sign up for.
No,
Nope.
thank you.
I'm gonna have to just not put my application in for that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Alrighty. So we've talked a little bit about the history. We've talked about our personal stories. How do we protect ourselves from this situation happening? Now, I have a couple little witchy woo ways that you can do it. Now, with essential oils or herbs, by your bed, preferably, I would do almost like a spray. If not just using the direct like oil or the dried herb itself. So we're talking lavender, rosemary, cinnamon. There was another one I'm forgetting. Just one second. Oh, ground sage. Those you can put near your bed, underneath your pillow, spray it on your pillow. They're really good protective, natural barriers. As well, for crystals, we've got amethyst, clear quartz, tiger's eye. Those are the three, yes. So those three are wonderful. I wouldn't necessarily put it under my pillow just because, for me personally, crystals carry that high energy that can sometimes disrupt my sleep. So instead, I put them on my nightstand, directly on my nightstand closest to me, amethyst specifically. Those are just a couple ways, not only, grounding and setting that intention of I am protected in this moment. Those are just a couple other little extra tools for your tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Yeah,
you guys?
during the time that we were all kind of seeing her and dreaming of her, we ended up taking a road trip to Sedona for my birthday. And it was super awesome, super great. Well, there's been times where I've gone to different mediums or ran into a psychic or something, and they're like, "Whoa, this is going on with you. That's crazy." Well, at one point, I went into a crystal shop because I will spend my entire life saving on crystals if I let myself. I'm just obsessed. And these ladies were like, "You need these crystals specifically, and you do need to put them in your bed, in your pillowcase and sleep with them because she's trying to get you in your sleep. And I had not told them anything. I was just like, cool, like sounds good to me. So I've gone on and off with having them in my bed, or in my pillowcase or right next to my bed. It just depends on what's going on in my life at the time. For me,
Yeah.
it does work. And then when I meditate, I have my crystals directly on me. That's how I like to meditate, because I will just like absorb as much energy as I can, you know. But when she was very much attached to me in October, when Brittany and I went to Tahoe, and we ran into our friends who are mediums, and they were like, she's still with you, you know, like, just so you know. And it's like, okay, bye, like, thanks for letting me know. So I went back to my hotel and I was meditating with the intention of cutting this attachment that she has created with me. And I was like, I'm not doing this with this chick anymore.
Mhm.
And I am not kidding. I was thinking it was going to be like a 20-minute meditation. It was almost 3 hours that
Holy
I just was
cow.
continuously meditating. I did not fall asleep. I did not break myself out of it. I was sitting there and I was calling on every one of my guides, my angels, having them like, it was almost like a cord. That's how I was envisioning it, coming out of my back attached to her. So we were literally connected, and they were holding it and like sawing the cord until it completely cut. And I was like, you are not allowed in my dreams. You are not allowed in my space, my home, my life. Like, you got to go. It does take a lot of energy to get rid of her. But if you don't allow the fear that she puts into you to overcome yourself, you can fight back and you can get rid of her and you can cut her off and push her out.
Yeah.
Again, she's
Oh.
very old. She'll keep coming back in, but you just have to be persistent on scoot your
Mhm.
booch, babe.
And she, like, the legends say she's been here since the beginning.
Mhm.
She lives in her own realm. Power, she has endless power, and she's, you know, all of this stuff. But these little tips and tricks can help you feel more grounded and protected in your own space. I completely forgot white candles.
Mhm.
White candles. I love lighting a good white candle. I love lighting any white candle. Tea lights are just as wonderful. I have one lit right now.
Mhm.
And lighting it with the intention. I know last episode we talked about lighting candles with intention, whether that be spouting a prayer over your candle, mentally envisioning the perfect protected life that you will live day to day in your home, saying, you know, incantations, feeling the feelings that you want to feel from the warmth of this candle, whatever it may be, however you tap into that clear intent, that manifestation. Use your candles.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
white candles.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, the best way that I keep her out is strictly through meditation.
Mhm.
Whenever I like feel her come on, like I'll go into a meditation about like focusing on getting her away from me, because for me the way that she comes is like I have my like little my personal like meditation, you know, like your personal space.
Mhm.
And in my
Yeah.
head it's like this shimmery like yellowish gold light, and she likes to like almost smother me with like fully like wrap just darkness around me. So like the best way that I do it is it's like my energy is coming from my head and it's like making a dome around me. But as I'm like making a dome, like I'm pushing her down, and it's almost like I'm pushing her down like all the way down a well, and like I'm burying her under it. So she's just like gone.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet that pisses her off.
Yeah. You can like, and that's the type of energy like I've felt over my life. I felt different energies. Hers was definitely the heaviest, the darkest I think I felt. And it's almost like I feel like a pin poking fiery touch on my shoulder
Mhm.
whenever I kind of feel like let my guard down, or if I'm talking about her too much, or thinking about certain situations. I feel like that it's a weird, almost like a over my
Oh, yeah.
shoulder.
you'll get completely overwhelmed. Like, if you guys have seen the new season of Stranger Things, I know you haven't finished it yet, but the way that Vecna is with making you like think every horrible thing about yourself and really putting you in like a low point and scaring you, that's a really good representation of what she does too.
Spot on.
Yeah, because she will put you in a very depressive state, a very scared, I mean, just absolutely the worst kind of feelings that you could be in. And you can get stuck in that position, and that's kind of what leads on to her end result. But if you can pull yourself out of it, then you can save yourself from it. Yeah, but that's a yucky feeling that she puts around you for a while.
Yeah. So, those are our experiences with the Night Hag, as menacing as she is, but yet also very powerful. Thank you, all you Twisted listeners, for tuning in and hearing what we have to say. Very much appreciated.
We would love if you guys have experienced the Night Hag in your daily life or in your dreams. Absolutely send us your stories.
Yes, please do. We want to hear all of your stories. If you guys think we're crazy for having our experiences with the Night Hag, or if you yourself have experienced the Night Hag, let us know. You guys can follow us on TikTok or Instagram at _3 Twisted Sisters. If you're not watching this on YouTube, definitely check out our YouTube, like, subscribe. You can comment below your stories at 3 Twisted Sisters Podcast on YouTube, or you can send us an email to our email, 3twistedsisterspodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear your stories. If you have seen this demonic energy, let us know. We would love to hear
Be
more.
careful what type of magic you are tapping into.
Yeah.
Cautionary tale. A cautionary tale.
Yes,
alrighty, you
absolutely.
guys take care. Have a wonderful week and stay
twisted.
twisted.
Bye.